Welcome to Radiant Timeless Legends. Imagine a sage so powerful that his curses could change the fate of gods and mortals alike. A Rishi with the fiery temperament of Lord Shiva himself. This is the story of Durvasa Muni, whose wrathful actions shaped the course of ancient epics. Durvasa Muni is not just a name, he's a phenomenon. Known for his legendary short temper, his personality reflects the intense, unpredictable energy of Shiva. While revered for his immense spiritual knowledge, his anger often became the catalyst for events that altered history. Durvasa was no ordinary sage. He was born to Atri Rishi, one of the revered Saptarishis, and Anasuya, a woman of unparalleled virtue. Their devotion impressed the Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who blessed them with 3 divine sons. Chandra embodied Brahma, Dattatreya carried Vishnu's essence, and Durvasa inherited Shiva's fiery anger. Durvasa means one who is difficult to live with, and rightly so, as his temper became the source of lessons and challenges for gods, kings, and even mortals. Now let us cover how few of his curses became the catalyst for events that altered history. Once Durvasa Muni encountered Indra riding his elephant, Airavata, accompanied by the gods. In a moment of frenzy, Durvasa threw a divine garland to Indra, who placed it on Airavata's head. Irritated by the strong fragrance, Airavata tossed the garland to the ground, offending the sage. Furious at this act of disrespect, Durvasa Muni cursed Indra, declaring that he would lose his position as ruler of the 3 worlds, just as the garland was cast down. Though Indra begged for forgiveness, Durvasa refused to relent. The curse weakened Indra and the Devas, stripping them of their divine strength and radiance. Seizing the opportunity, the Asuras, led by Bali, attacked and defeated the Devas. This later set the stage for Samudra Manthan, where Devas attain immortality. Durvasa even cursed his own wife Kandali to turn into a heap of dust for constantly quarreling with him. Realizing the severity of his actions, he later created a banana tree from her ashes. The banana tree symbolizes transformation and redemption, a divine plant that bears fruit without seeds, representing prosperity, purity, and fertility. During Treta Yuga, when Shakuntala, distracted by her love for King Dushyanta, failed to greet Durvasa, in anger he cursed her, causing Dushyanta to forget her. This curse later became a pivotal moment in the epic tale of their son, Bharata. Later, Sage Durvasa clarified that Dushyanta would remember her once she presented the ring he had given her. In the Ramayana, after Lord Ram's long rule in Ayodhya, it was time for him and Lakshmana to return to Vaikuntha. Durvasa Muni appeared at Rama's door, and Lakshmana, guarding the entrance, asked the sage to wait as Rama was in a private meeting with Yama, the god of death. Yama, who was in disguise, had instructed Rama that anyone who entered the room would be executed. Angered by the delay, Durvasa threatened to curse Ayodhya if Lakshmana did not inform Rama immediately. Lakshmana, to save the kingdom, interrupted Rama's meeting, and Rama concluded it swiftly to receive the sage. Durvasa Muni requested food, which Lord Rama provided, and then departed happily. Heartbroken, Rama had to fulfill his promise to Yama and decided to send Lakshmana away as per sage Vasishta's advice, as abandonment was seen as equivalent to death. Lakshmana went to the Sarayu river, intending to end his earthly existence. He was the divine Sheshnag, and his time on earth had come to an end. During a pilgrimage in Dwapara Yuga, Durvasa asked Krishna and Rukmini to pull his chariot. When Rukmini became thirsty, Krishna summoned a spring of the Ganga river to quench her thirst. Rukmini drank the water without asking Durvasa's permission. Furious, he cursed her to separate from Krishna. In order to seek redemption for her actions, Rukmini undertook a 12-year penance at the very place where the incident took place. Do you think Durvasa's anger was a divine tool to maintain balance, or was it a flaw in an otherwise great sage? Stay tuned for the next part to discover more on his boons granted. The legends of old never fade. They are the stories of our past, the wisdom of our ancestors, and the timeless tales that guide our future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay legendary, stay radiant.